that you're hearing. Some of the things that have just been said is, after being in the industry for so long and going through lots and lots of different changes, I would tell you that they either qualify under the headline of hallucination or limiting belief. And I'll explain why. Okay. So let's start with hallucinations. The hallucination that interest rates go up, so prices come down. You guys, I'm going to qualify that as a hallucination because that isn't always the case. Let's talk about why. Okay. And this is super important because you guys need to have the talking points. You have to have the objection handlers to be able to help consumers absorb the information and then feel confident about moving forward into buying a property. Okay. Or moving forward into selling a property. But mostly the buy side is what we're dealing with right now. So if you think about what am I talking about, the hallucination of this, here's where the hallucination is. Interest rates have been historically low. I mean, you guys, they've never been at 2.5%. I mean, not in any time of the recent past of people living that have been doing real estate. So if you think about it, we experienced something that no other realtor has ever experienced, interest rates at 2.5%, okay? However, all of those of us that have been around a while have experienced 5, 6, 8, 10, 15%. Now, what you need to remember is a lot of us survived it. How did we survive it? Because people will figure out what they need to do to get what they need. Believe it or not, even when prices are high, they will figure out how to get what they need. And most people need a roof over their head, okay? Rents are also not coming down anytime soon. So now you have to know the math behind it. So the catch is that if you guys watch business news or anything like that, you know that the stock market is hugely volatile. I mean, it's what's causing a lot of the issues, okay? But what does that mean in historic times? When people pull their money out of the stock market, where do they put it? Housing. Yeah. Because if you can take $500,000 and put it in a house for cash and collect $3,000 a month, wow, you're making way more money per month on that investment than you would be in a stock market situation. It's a very secure, low risk situation. So now we have a ton of money in the market, which we had anyway. There's more money in the United States and globally right now than at any other time we've ever seen. Okay, so this should all be giving you guys confidence that yes, you're going to have to break some hearts. Okay, there's going to be some people who you have to tell them, I'm sorry, you can't qualify. The rate's no longer 3%. It is now 6.5%. And I'm using higher rate than it is right now. So you get used to hearing it. Okay. When the rate now is 6.5%, you can't qualify if your income doesn't allow it. However, there's a whole lot of people out there that can afford the 6.5% interest rate. You're going to have to get creative at how they're going to get into that house. Down payment money. Okay. Where's their down payment? Where's their qualifying ability coming from? Have they been on their jobs long enough? So when you start working out those details, you can still help a lot of people. So that's the hallucination of interest rates go up, so prices come down. Here's the other thing. We are at anywhere, I've heard different stats, 4 million to 7 million homes in the United States short. We are short 4 to 7 million homes to the demand we still have currently right now today. That means there's not going to be home prices coming down. The rates will go up, but prices are not going to come down. So that hallucination your consumers are having, you need to get the data to support what this is, which you get that from Keeping Current Matters. You get it from, NAR. You get it from the Builders Association. You get the stats that show that there is still not enough houses supply for the demand that's out there, which will automatically stabilize prices. And actually, believe it or not, we're going to see appreciation. They're saying between 2 and 4%, maybe a little more, depending if you got a bullish or bearish person you're talking to. Okay. So when you have that, what's that mean? Rates are just going up. It's going to cost your buyers more money to buy the same priced house. They may end up having to go look at smaller houses. You might have to reset the expectations of them. Those expectations are going to be like, I was going to get that house and now I can't have that house. I got to go buy a condo. So constantly re-educating the consumer you're working with. And by the way, this should automatically create urgency in your conversations with the clients you're working with. You have to create urgency right now. You have to tell them, listen, it is a dead giveaway right now. Those rates are going up. They are not coming back down, not anytime soon. And when they do, you can refinance. But here's what I know. Once they go up, very rarely do they come down. Okay. And it takes a whole lot to turn the Titanic of a global economy and a United States economy to get a rate to do what it was doing, what we've experienced, low rates, right? And so know this, you have the objection handlers you need. You have to learn to use them and educate the consumer with it. So you're going to be talking to these people a lot more. If you're not doing videos out to everybody you know, to every lead that's in your buckets of your CRM, if you're not sending that video out that says, hey, here's my whiteboard and here's where we're at and here's the historic data, rates are going up, prices aren't coming down, call me today because we need to get you in a house ASAP. And yes, you're going to have to compete, but that's okay because we have a proven way of getting you under contract on a house, and you better have a proven way of doing it. Okay, so that's that part. Now, the second part was, what was the other either hallucination or limiting belief?
Mm-hmm.
What was the limiting belief? Who said it?
Lisa.
Yeah, Lisa, what did you say?
That prices are going up so high. How in the world is anyone going to be able to afford to buy
How
a
in the
house?
world can anybody afford a house? Limiting belief. Okay. I don't know. Let's see. It's all relative. Would you guys agree? It's all relative. Even though when prices were, say, $100,000 for a house, interest rates were 17.5%. Think about that. It's all relative. Take a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 house now, put a 6% interest rate on it. It's not a lot of difference. Do the math. Okay. Now, I would highly recommend, if you don't already have an app on your phone that is your seller net and your buyer cost app, all the title companies have them. Your title company probably has one. You should download it. I pay about $12 a year for it. So it's going to give you the ability to show black and white numbers. It will also give you the ability to show rent versus buy. And you don't have to figure the numbers yourself. I'm no math whiz. Okay. I went to Hemet High School. You guys all know where that is if you live in the Inland Empire. Okay. So graduated Hemet High, 1982. I am not a college graduate. However, I know how to do the math for a real estate transaction to show somebody the black and white stats of what it costs them to rent versus what it costs them to own, and being able to take that write-off, owning, developing wealth, building their family wealth generationally. Housing has been the #1 wealth builder for most people in the United States. Do you know that? I mean, if you haven't bought your own house yet, go do it as fast as possible. Okay. And then go share that experience, because through the years, I know for a fact, Nazar is also an example of taking the wealth you build in buying and selling real estate and creating your retirement for you. My husband and I say, you buy a rental property, you're just buying another Social Security check, and you're not relying on the government for it. Okay. So housing and the ability to buy should never have a limiting belief around, I can't do it. Now, there are some buyers that you're not going to be able to get in right now. They're going to have to go to the lender, and the lender's going to have to say, hey, You got to clean this credit up. It's going to take you 6 months. You need to save an extra $10,000. Go save it. Come back and see us. But here's the other side of the coin. Now, this is going to sound kind of crass, but it is something I heard recently at the Tom Ferry Team Plus account, Team Plus master event in Miami last week. It's going to take baby boomers to die before millennials can buy. Okay. So now think about that for a minute. I don't want to be morbid. However, I'm the youngest of the baby boomers. I'll be 58. Okay. We have all the money. The boomers have all the money and all the real estate. However, the millennials are the largest group coming in, and their ages between 21 and 40 right now. That's most of you on this call. Okay. So think about this for a minute. You got to now be the person that integrates the millennial with the boomer. The boomer is their parents who are going to do whatever it takes in their power, if they can, to help that millennial buy their first house. So the limiting belief is that buyers can't afford to get in a house. Tom always says, are you concerned about resources or are you being resourceful? Be resourceful, okay? This is a key factor right now. If there is any family money, if they have a 401k, if they have anything that they've worked their job, that parent has worked in their job for 35, 40 years, and they have some money saved up, they can gift to their kid. Start offering those examples. Start suggesting that. Start asking them to go talk to their accountant and ask for those ideas, because the millennials are large. I mean, the boomer group was the largest group to ever hit. The millennials surpasses the boomer group, okay? However, we need this tsunami, the silver tsunami, the old people. We need them to move. Guess what they're doing? They're sitting in their houses. So all of you should be out looking for listings right now. If you're not, you're crazy, okay? You should be talking to your title company and getting a list of people that have owned their homes for more than 20 years and have little to no debt on them. They need to move. Now, how do you talk to somebody about moving when they owe no debt on their house and they like where they live because they raised all their kids there? Well, number of reasons. Downsizing, being able to cash in at $500,000 tax-free before the government takes that away from us too, okay? Remember, you live in your house for more than 2 years, any profit out of that up to $500,000 per couple is tax-free. No capital gains tax. They can take that, they can gift their kids some money, and they can go buy a condo in Florida or wherever they want to be, okay? So using that and giving them some examples. Downsizing because they have to go into assisted care homes. Getting connected to people that are like attorneys, probate attorneys, asking them to connect you with somebody who needs a realtor to help the family sell the parents' home who just passed away. If you don't have these kind of resources, build them right now, okay? Go find guys that will help you do trash outs. Go find people that will make small repairs. You don't need to rehab an old person's house. Don't go in there and try and make it a beautiful flip, okay? You're just cleaning it up enough to allow a lender to do the loan on it that gets a first-time buyer in. And if you got a lot of buyers, guess what you're doing? You're connecting the two. It's in your hands. This is the best part about real estate, you guys. You're in full control of your futures. You just got to go talk to a lot of people. And I will guarantee you, I can tell you from experience, it doesn't matter what the market is, it doesn't matter what the rate is, and it doesn't matter what the prices are. There is always a buyer to buy a house and a seller to sell. The limiting belief becomes between your two ears, okay? Don't hold yourself back. You're the only one holding you down and putting your own glass ceiling on. That's what's great about real estate. It's the only thing that's kept me interested for 30 plus years, okay? If I worked for a corporation, I would have quit already. I did that in '94. I left First American Title. Okay, so So any questions you guys have about talking points, data, what you need to know to feel confident about educating the consumer? I'm opening up the lines. You're on with Yvonne. I should do a podcast with that, huh? Anybody in the big room over there want to yell a question? No questions?
Probate is always scary to me, but what's the best way to get started with probate? I know you said reach out to attorneys or like folks. I see a lot of folks on YouTube and people, talking about probate, but then they want an exorbitant amount of money to get their system or whatever. So what's the easiest way to do that?
There's a ton of people out there that'll sell you on their system.
Yeah, exactly.
I've gone to the classes. I've been in all that stuff. And it's not a bad way. With the probate stuff, that would probably be the only one I would tell you that it's actually pretty worth it if you've got a good reputable company that does those. There is a company called All the Leads that does do that because they scrub it and they actually go to the courthouses and they have all the data. They get the back end data. However, relationship building is the number one key. So you first get a list of all of your attorneys that handle probates, trusts, estates in the area you're looking in. Okay. And so whatever market you're in, you want to focus on just Eastvale, you want to focus on the whole Inland Empire, you decide and you get the list of attorneys. Okay. And then from there, you build relationships. There are specific letters that you can put together that are sent to the attorneys. They're no different than, think about this. When a title person or an escrow person wants your business, what do? They invite you to lunch, don't they? They send you little perks. They want to be in front of you. They give you a calendar book, okay? So you can do the same with attorneys. You basically are creating relationships with them. And here's one of the things that I learned as a title rep competing with other title companies many, many moons ago. They probably already have a relationship with a realtor or multiple realtors, okay? So how do you set yourself apart? Well, if they already have a relationship, you say to them when you meet with them or in the letter, hey, I understand you probably already have a relationship with another realtor. However, I'd like to be your second choice. Here's some of the things that I do when I get listings. And you better be able to present what you do for that listing, for the listing process, in a really cool fashion. So if you're not using, excuse me, something like FlipSnack, the flip book, you create it in, and you can email it out and they click on it and then they go through your book. It's about you, what you do to take a listing, some of your success stories, all of that. You've got 5 realty behind you. You've got support systems. You have admins, you have marketing people. You put all that in your brochure. It's a listing marketing presentation brochure, but then talk about, excuse me, talk about you have a crew. Sorry, get my focus back in here too. Oh, come on. Gotta love these cameras. I usually have to stare into your eyes. There it goes. So you have a crew. You have somebody that is a trash out person. You have somebody that will do small repairs. You have somebody that does your professional photography. You present yourself that way and you're presenting yourself to the attorneys. So that's the way to do it. And it takes a while. It's no different than geographic farming. You are, what we call that is target farming. You're target farming attorneys. So it's like a geographical farm, but it's just not a geography location. You can do that with doctors. By the way, doctors are another hot button. They have a lot of money and they're terrible at business. Okay. You should prospect doctors to buy and to help them buy investment properties and to reinvest their money. They're great buyers. Okay. So there's a lot of things out there, but that would be the way I would go for probates. Anything else? Okay. All right. So, Rochelle, what's something that I need to know about the people on this call today that I can help them with?
I think you were on the right track. Definitely with what you shared in the beginning. That was why I wrote that note in there. Like, what I'm hearing is they need a mind shift, and they have to remember we've been through this. We've been through the housing market crashing and then having to rebuild and having to shift our mindset and change the way that we do business. And so I feel like drilling that home is really helpful, especially when you reached out and shared about being resourceful.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Resources
And I do
is
think
huge.
whatever resources you have, they would be open to hearing that.
Yeah. So some of the things that you're probably seeing is you're hearing, I don't want to sell because I can't go anywhere else. There's nowhere to go, or the rates are going up, and so it's going to price me out. You have to get people to move first. If you are not getting people to sell their homes first and commit to that, there's probably a very slim chance that they're going to be a buyer in another home. Now, and then it causes a clog in the system. We have to, as realtors, we have to help people understand why they should be moving, okay? We have to drill into their global values though. Why are they moving? If you don't know why somebody's calling you and thinking about selling, really truly thinking about selling, not just about how much money they can get out of their house, that they have a reason to move, okay? Like I said, parent died, house has to sell. Parents going into assisted care place, house has to sell. Downsizing, they're moving to Texas or they're moving to Arizona because their kids moved there and got out and they got to be closer to their kids. Okay, that's happening a lot right now. Why are they moving? Oh, they want to be in a different school district. Now, Corona Norco is a pretty good school district in that one, but maybe they're in Riverside and they want to get out of Alvord and they want to go to Corona Norco. Okay, you got to figure that out. What is their motivation? Once you find that, then it's just a matter of, hey, here's what I know. And remember, we don't use the word think. Don't ever say the term think. I think that means you're insecure about what your next thing you're going to say. You're not really convinced, okay? But here's what I know. What I know, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer or Mrs. and Mrs. Seller, what I know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, is the minute you decide to make the decision to put your home on the market, the universe speaks. Because I can control, to some extent, the move out time, the pace of the sale, making it contingent on you finding another home. But we have to get you to make the first move first. So I know the minute that you decide to sell your home, everything's going to fall into place. And here's why I can say that literally, like I said it 3 times today. I didn't, okay? Because I'm a believer and I know that is how it works. They become a lot more motivated to make the deal happen when their house is on the market and has a buyer for it. Okay, so you have to get them in a place that they're forward thinking. They're not staying in their comfort zone. That's number 1. Okay, now the mindset around what you guys need to know, you have to educate yourselves, you guys. You have to be reading the news, but not the bad news. You need to be reading the stat news. What are the stats? You should know local stats for the Inland Empire. Then you should branch out to California stats. Then you branch out to US stats and then global stats. You should have the whole pattern. So you are the real estate guru. Okay. When you're talking to somebody, they're like, holy shit. Tahir knows everything about real estate, not just in the Inland Empire. You got to call him. He knows. Listen to what he says. Okay. If you aren't that go-to, yeah, you're going to struggle getting people to be convinced to work with you. Okay. But you do that by data. We always go by data, not what our emotions are. Right now, you're dealing with people who are all being reactionary because of emotions. Everybody's like, oh my God, the stock market crashed 1,000 points yesterday. And then you ask them, How much stock did you have? None. I don't have any investments in the stock market. Then what the hell does it matter if it crashed yesterday? Okay. You need to know how to combat that. You say, oh, you didn't have any. So where are you putting your money? Mattress? Okay. How about we get that money to work for you? How about we go buy a house out in this area because we can still get them for X number of dollars. And do you know what the rents are on that? And remember, I'm going to help you build wealth, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. I'm going to help you create your own Social Security check so you don't have to rely on the government to give you one. That's a house in passive income. Okay, that's buying a manufactured home on a lot, because anything is rentable right now. I mean, that's kind of the joke on the Facebook pages, right? Somebody's got like a mobile home or they've got a trailer that's missing a wheel and it's kind of like limping on the side of the road and they're like, for rent, $8,700 a month, right? So you guys, you've got the data at your fingertips. Keeping Current Matters, I'll refresh your memory. Keeping Current Matters, National Association of Realtors, anything that has to do with the stats of the market, real estate market. Take it, steal it, make it your own, and put it in an email blast, put it up on the whiteboard, and go tell everyone. And I'm going to leave you with this. Who on this, raise of hands, who in this group is doing video right now and putting it on YouTube? No one that I can see videos of? Are you serious? People.
Maybe Instagram, not YouTube.
Okay. Instagram works. However, let me tell you something about YouTube I learned. So I went on this last 2 weeks on a kind of a tour of conferences. So first one I went to was in Scottsdale. Becky Garcia and Mary Maloney, you may have heard of them. Becky decided to have a women's retreat and it was really great. And she brought in some great speakers. She brought in a gal who got 30,000 followers on TikTok and all she's talking about is real estate. And she did that in 19 weeks. Okay. Now, then I went to Houston and I sat through a video blueprint with Katie Day and Tim Macy. And they brought in some great video people. Here's the two people I want you guys to follow. First one is Ken Pozek, P-O-Z-E-K. Ken is out of Orlando, Florida. Ken and his wife were in Michigan. They lived in Michigan. They were doing about $40 million in volume a year. And they looked at each other and said, we hate living in Michigan. Let's move to Orlando, Florida. They packed it up and they moved to Orlando, Florida about 5 or 6 years ago. He is now the mayor on YouTube of Orlando, Florida. Literally, Disney World refers his videos to people moving to Orlando to work for Disney. Okay. He gets 200 to 400 leads a month from YouTube channel only, and he spends no money except for what it costs him to produce the videos. Hear that again? He buys no leads, $0 for advertising on YouTube, all organic. People find him because he does informational videos about everything and anything in the Orlando market. That's the first guy you should follow and mimic him and go build your YouTube channel. The second one is a luxury market guy out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. His name is Brad McCollum, M-A-C-C-U-L-L-U-M. He decided that he wanted to break into luxury and he'd never done luxury before. His talk was called something about luxury. And then he said, but you have to be delusional. And I said, the talk should have just been be delusional, get business from YouTube, right? And the delusional part was he had to fake it till he made it, right? He was delusional that he could actually do it. And he just did it. So go follow him on YouTube. He gets a ton of leads as well. And they're all luxury leads. So if you think you can't attract high-end clients from YouTube, you're highly wrong. Okay. So you can attract anyone from YouTube. And by the way, TikTok just surpassed 40 years old as the average user, which is huge. And YouTube goes across all age groups. Okay. So you should be doing videos. Educational videos are the key If you're not doing educational videos, they are luxury videos. Seriously, nobody really wants to see a house, a condo in Eastvale. I'm sorry. That's an okay video. It markets your listing. However, if you really want to attract, go figure out where you can go do an educational video, or find somebody that'll let you do a video about their luxury property. If you're trying to get in the luxury world, go find one to do a video on. You can figure it out. You can get approval from the listing agent, okay? And most of them aren't doing it anyway. Oh, by the way, go find those old exiting realtors that really should have somebody take over their business, because they need your energy because you're young and you're in it for the next 20 years. So thank you, Rochelle. Thank you, 5 Realty. Thank you for being here. Everybody else who joined today, I appreciate all of you. Coach Yvonne Arnold, Tom Ferry,
Yes.
and let me know if you have any questions. You guys know where to reach me. Just Google me.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Thanks, guys. See you later.